HBCU. So thank you, brother, for that presentation. So now we're going to move into our second phase of our day. Our next panel is, give me a second, inspiring social impact investing, right? And entrepreneurship at HBCUs. And we have a wonderful lineup of panelists available for you. And that panel is being moderated by this wonderful young sister that I recently met and have adopted, Maria Lloyd, who is the CMO of Black with No Chaser. And joining her today is her CEO, CJ. CJ, please raise your hand and stand. He's the founder of Black with No Chaser. And Maria is also an author. She'll be leading the panel and moderating it with three other outstanding panelists. One is Ann McMichael, Executive Director of Shared Interest, and Miranda Perez and Kenya Best with HBCU Founders Initiative. So now I'm going to turn the floor over to this very able-bodied group of women, and we're going to learn a lot. So here they are. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Good afternoon, my people. Oh, I know we can do better than that. I'm gonna try again. Good afternoon, my people. Good afternoon. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for that. Once again, Dr. Gloria, thank you so much for this opportunity to moderate this incredible panel discussion. I am a proud HBCU graduate, Clark Atlanta University, go CAU. And today I have the honor of introducing two organizations that really exemplify what it means to do social impact investing and entrepreneurship, or advocate for social impact investing and entrepreneurship at HBCUs. The first organization is Shared Interest, and representing Shared Interest today is Ann McMichael. She is the executive director, and she was appointed as the executive director of Shared Interest as of May 2021. Shared Interest is a nonprofit guarantee fund that economically empowers Black women entrepreneurs and other small and medium-sized enterprises with loan guarantees and technical support to help their businesses scale and grow in key sectors of agriculture, climate change, gender equality, social enterprises, as well as fintech. Shared Interest mobilizes investments from US-based social impact investors to advance racial, gender, and economic justice in Southern Africa, and to date has provided $34 million in loan guarantees that have unlocked more than $131 million in local capital, ultimately benefiting 2.3 million Black and economically disenfranchised Southern Africans. You all please join me in welcoming Ann McMichael of Shared Interest. Okay, so next up, the second organization that we are going to engage today, just give me 1 second, okay, is HBCU Founders Initiative. It was launched by NextQ. It's a 501c nonprofit that aims to decrease the wealth gap by supporting HBCU students and alumni along their entrepreneurial journey, encouraging them to pursue the launch of tech-fueled ventures across HBCU campuses. From the ideation stage to the investment stage and beyond, HBCU FI offers programs, financial and technical resources, and a vast network of advisors who are committed to supporting HBCU founders pursuing entrepreneurship. To date, over 1,400 students and alumni from 80 plus HBCUs have participated in the HBCU FI programming, Participants in our programming, in their programming, have raised over $2 million for their startups. So representing HBCUFI today will be Kania Brown. She is the program coordinator, as well as Miranda Perez, who is also a program coordinator. You all please join me in welcoming these two ladies. Thank you. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to ask Anne to come on down, and she will present again on behalf of Shared Interest. After Anne, we will have Kania Best. She will come and present on behalf of HBCU FI, and then we'll get started with our panel discussion.
Good afternoon. I couldn't be more pleased to be in the belly of so much brilliance in the South. This is actually my first time coming to Tuskegee, so thank you for warmly welcoming me. I am also a proud HBCU alum. I graduated from Spelman College, so I'm feeling the HBCU love. I can't start my presentation without thanking Dr. Tinubu, Dr. Shange, a colleague of ours, Nell Diallo, facilitated this connection, and it's all coming through an HBCU connection. So we are literally empowering each other locally and globally. So I'm going to kind of touch on this presentation. I really want to leave enough time for Q&A because that's what really charges me. So I am greeting you on behalf of the Shared Interest Board, as well as our Board of Advisors. This is an organization that has built-in economic resilience with a focus on investing in Black and economically disenfranchised communities. We were founded about 30 years ago. We come out of the anti-apartheid movement. And so when Nelson Mandela was elected president and democracy was ushered in under his leadership, that is around the time that we were funded to literally invest in the new and emerging democracy that was forming at the time. And let's see, this is my clicker. So I'll just go through a little bit about who we are, what we are, and more importantly, why HBCUs are important to our more recent mission and priorities. As I shared, we are about mobilizing the resources, unlocking capital for the economic engines that run really the world, which are women and youth. We envision a world that allows for us to eliminate disparities, uphold basic human rights, and serve as a model of economic justice in South and now Southern Africa. So I was elected by the board in 2021 to serve as the first Black female executive director of this amazing organization. It was actually founded by another woman by the name of Donna Katzen. When we were founded, we mobilized the resources of the anti-apartheid movement, as well as movements that called for disinvestment from South Africa. We also worked very closely with socially responsible investors and the faith-based community. Flash forward, when Donna retired in 2020, they were looking for their next leader. But around that time, as everybody knows, it was the murder of George Floyd. And the board, as it was looking for its next leader, chose that time to pass a racial justice resolution. And that resolution called for asking really tough questions, even though we were founded as an organization that focused on economic, racial, and gender justice. We were asking ourselves at the time what more we could be doing to contribute meaningfully to the conversation. And so from that resolution, we created a framework through which we could continue to advance our mission, but we wanted to be as relevant as possible. And that is where the work that we're doing with now about 7 HBCUs, Tuskegee will be the one that will be kicking off here. And what I found when when I became the ED is I've been in the nonprofit sector for a good 25 plus years. I started as a kindergartner, so I won't try to age myself, but I didn't know too much about the world of impact investing. And so it was my fervent belief that if I didn't know, having been in this sector for as long as I've been, then more than likely people who look like me, even in the nonprofit sector, and dare I say in other parts of the private and public sectors, likely didn't know about this thing that we call impact investing. And so I wanted to make sure that the next generation of social entrepreneurs and impact investors were aware of these tools and why they're so important for us to be aware of them inside of our entrepreneurial arsenal. So this is what we look like at a very high level glance. We raise capital from impact investors. They're not gifts, they're not donations, they're literally investments. Those investments do receive a return. It's not a high return, but it is a return. But what these investors are most interested in is a high rate of social impact. We also work with the philanthropic community. And so we are a nonprofit and we also receive philanthropic equity. Those two pools of capital are what allow us to provide loan guarantees, like Maria shared, to our beneficiaries. And our beneficiaries are the unbanked and underbanked Black women entrepreneurs and other small and growing businesses in the countries that we work. We're now not just in South Africa, we're in 5 other Southern African countries, including Malawi, Mozambique, Eswatini, Zambia, and most recently Lesotho. Those loan guarantees, which to date equate to about $35 million, have unlocked about $132 million in the local communities and countries that we work. And we've been able to benefit about 2.3 million beneficiaries, 60% of whom are women and youth. So these are just some stats that call for urgent action around more impact investments. There are about 3 billion people who live globally on less than $2 a day. Africa has the youngest population in the world. There's about a $42 billion financing gap faced by female-owned enterprises in Africa. And HBCU students, and I'm a mom of 2, are disproportionately burdened by student loan debt, yet face limited access to investing and financial planning, resources. The climate and housing crises are pushing many Black communities into cycles of economic vulnerability. And then I'll just go to the last few points that I really pulled from the Black Belt study. Today, there are less than 45,000 Black farmers who own approximately 4.5 million acres of land. In stark contrast, there are about the white farmers own over 900 million acres of land. This is very similar to what we find in South Africa. In South Africa, 70% of the farms and agricultural holdings are owned by whites, who make up 7.3% of the population. Black Africans, however, represent 81% of the country and own less than 4% of the agricultural land. Global inequality continues to grow. The rising gap between the haves and the have-nots are really what's the issue that we all should care deeply about. Globally, the richest 10% hold more than 50% of the wealth. The United States ranks towards the top for the unequal distribution of wealth, surpassing even European countries. And the World Bank, and not too many people may be aware of this, but the World Bank continues to rank South Africa as the most unequal country in the world, primarily because of the systemic racism that continues to even haunt South Africa 30 years post-apartheid. So to address and do our part to advance a more equitable distribution and to make sure that development is as inclusive as it can be, these are the sectors that shared interest focuses on. Affordable housing. In fact, while I was here, a deal closed earlier this morning in South Africa. So we do a lot in the affordable housing space. Our current work will provide about 500 units of affordable housing in some of the poorer parts of South Africa. Agriculture and food security, you can't work in Africa without focusing on agriculture, which is why I'm so glad to be working with a land-grant university with an esteemed reputation like Tuskegee, because I think there are so many ways in which this institution, as well as partnerships in the places that we work, can really learn from each other and address ways that we can be supporting more agripreneurs. Women and gender is a big focus of ours. Climate change is increasingly becoming more of a priority. And then the two sectors on the far left are ones that will allow us to lean more into youth entrepreneurship, social enterprises, and fintech. So social impact investing is a key and crucial tool to addressing the Sustainable Development Goals. It's an investment approach that seeks to contribute to solutions for people and the planet. It considers your values when making investment decisions, and it can include positive and negative screening processes for shareholder activism. So these are some terms that really sort of influence the sector that shared interest is working within. ESG investing, which is investing in publicly traded companies using a framework to assess a company's track record on environmental, social, and governance issues. These are all obviously issues that oftentimes get, a political polarized reaction, but they are essential to making sure that we're making business making business work for us and do well in the process. Impact investing, which is what shared interest works on and focuses on, is an investment that delivers positive social, environmental, and financial impact. And it's made intentionally and measurably to address a social inequity. And then community development finance, which is also a really important tool for making sure that investments flow to vulnerable communities. So how are we trying to arm the next generation of change makers and impact investors, as well as social entrepreneurs? We are working meaningfully with now 6 to 7 HBCUs on a program that will arm students with information and resources on how they can learn about the field, how they can be helping to diversify the field, and how we can be making useful connections here and there, with there being Southern Africa, where their voices are really essential to creating the kind of future that we deserve and especially that we require. Tuskegee University and Shared Interest are partnering to offer a special multi-session workshop on the fundamentals of sustainable and impact investing, and we hope to get everything kicked off this coming fall. I'd like to specifically call out Ms. Cheryl Good, who's been an amazing partner, and that is the academy that we are looking to integrate our programming into. So to date, we've been able to, through this program, reach over 200 students. We are always looking for industry experts that can serve as guest lecturers. These experts also can serve as mentors to our program. A cohort of students through this program have been able to go to New York. We got our early funding came from the NASDAQ Foundation, and when we took our earlier cohort of students through this program, we were able to bring them to New York. They could participate in a closing bell ceremony, as well as meet with some of our key partners. And this is all focused on how we can be providing really meaningful engagement, learning opportunities, mentorship opportunities, as well as ways in which we could be listening to our youth in terms of what they need to be more intentional and impactful in whatever the businesses are that they want to drive forward. And this is just a snapshot of the content that we'll be covering. We talk about the history and the fundamentals of impact investing, making global connections. And some of these global connections will involve us connecting youth entrepreneurs with other youth entrepreneurs in our priority countries, seeing what it looks like to, be a startup that's on the fintech side or in the affordable housing side. So there's some really interesting ways that students can share their experiences and their interests and hopefully make some strong connections. And I will close with a QR code. We invite students and partners to engage with us, and you can learn more about this particular program that we're offering to our HBCU partners. Thank you.